Setting up a student loan system that factors into the social and economic realities of our society is one major recommendation coming from the recent study done by the Caribbean Policy Research Institute, CAPRI, on financing university education. Researcher Shauna K. Chisholm explains.
An income contingent loan scheme is a suitable model for Jamaica. This model shifts the risk to the lender. This way, if the student ends up in a low employment income job or become unemployed, then the debt service obligation automatically adjusts. Students would choose between paying their tuition upfront or deferring payments through the scheme. The debt would be recorded and linked to a student tax registration number. When the student graduates or for any other reason ceases studying, they would start making contribution contingent on their income.
Ms. Chisholm explains this model will allow students to gain access to tertiary education without the risk of unpayable debt and would provide liquidity to the university that would allow it to provide high-quality education, thus creating a pool of skilled workers for the country and the economy. She also shares what's seen as an important prerequisite.
Repayment should be collectible from immigrants. There will need to be a bilateral or a multilateral agreement between countries that receive Jamaican migrants regarding the payments of the loan. In all, there is no such thing as free education. Someone has to pay for it, and the only sustainable way is to make it easy and flexible for students to pay.
When asked where the government can get the initial lump sums to provide these loans, Group Chief Investment Officer of JMMB, Mr. Damian Brown, shares his thoughts.
Depending on the cost of funding, and I think the study speaks to it, the potential to partner with multilaterals for seed funding and therefore at an affordable interest rate cost and taking into account the social impact, so it's not just a commercial consideration. There are other questions where there are certain low-risk aspects that could be funded by the private sector if you have the mechanisms to give a high probability of repayment. Again, the private sector in whatever form has a fiduciary duty, whether it's the pension fund holders or to depositors or investors, to ensure that they get an appropriate commercial return. But if it is structured appropriately where the risk can be fully measured, then it can be financed. And I think the most suitable aspect of it to start out would be where you have those pockets that have both the consideration of the social impact and do not have liquidity concerns, which would more align with developmental institutions.
For more information on the report, Footing the Bill, the hard choices of financing university education, log on to CAPRI's website at www.capricaribbean.org.